All right, welcome. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're not just looking at a topic, we are literally going to deconstruct the sales pitch for a topic. We're taking apart the persuasive structure of a popular online video, one that promises to solve the dating frustrations a lot of modern men feel. So, how does it really work? How does it pull you in? Let's break down the architecture of this thing, step by step.
And it all starts right here, with this question. It's direct, it's super emotional, and it's designed to hit a nerve with a very specific person, someone who knows exactly what that feeling is like. Right off the bat, it sets up a core problem that the rest of the pitch is going to promise to solve for you. So after hooking you with that really personal question, the pitch gives the problem a name. And that brings us to our first section, the good guy dilemma. This isn't just a random phrase, it's the central conflict that the entire argument is built around.
Okay, this is basically a masterclass in building rapport. The speaker, a guy named Alejandro Peterson, he lists these very specific pain points. He's basically saying, hey, I see you. I know exactly what you're going through. And by laying out the cycle, where the harder you try, the worse it gets, he makes the viewer feel completely and totally understood. That creates a really powerful connection right from the jump. And here it is. This is the pivot. This one sentence is the absolute foundation of the entire pitch, and it does two really critical things. First, it just completely absolves you of any blame. It tells you, hey, it's not your fault. And second, it introduces a whole new way of thinking, this core idea that becomes the key to everything. The message is crystal clear. You haven't just been making mistakes, you've been playing the wrong game altogether.
And that whole idea of playing the wrong game leads us right into the core philosophy of this pitch. Section 2, to please versus to attract. The whole argument here is that everything you think you know about attraction actually falls into one of these two categories. And, well, they don't mix.
Just look at this chart. It lays out the argument perfectly. It takes all the things we're told to do, be a good guy, be thoughtful, give compliments, and it just flips the script on them. The pitch says that, yeah, these things might make a woman like you as a friend, but they will never, ever create that spark of actual attraction. The outcome you want and the outcome you're getting are two totally different things.
So yeah, it's a simple, really powerful metaphor that sums up the whole diagnosis. You're using the wrong tool for the job. But, a diagnosis is only as credible as the person who's delivering it. And that brings us to the messenger himself.
So, every good sales pitch needs a guide you can trust, right? And this is where the video really starts to carefully build up the speaker's authority. It's not just about the theory anymore. It's about the guy who supposedly figured it all out.
This is that classic I was just like you story. The speaker, Alejandro, he flat out admits his past failures, and he uses the exact slang his audience would use. He calls himself a professional simp. Now, this isn't just a confession. It's a really smart, strategic move to build this deep sense of relatability and trust. He's saying, I'm not some academic telling you how it is. I've been in the trenches just like you.
And this right here, it's a perfect hero's journey. First, he hit rock bottom. Then he went on this quest for knowledge, digging into some pretty heavy fields like neuroscience and psychology. But, and this is key, he also did the internal work. This frames him not just as a guy who read some books, but as someone who's gone through a massive personal transformation, the exact transformation he's about to sell you.
Okay, so let's recap. The problem is clear, and we've met the guide who's been through it all. So what comes next? Well, the solution, of course. This brings us to Section 4, the promise of transformation, where that personal story gets neatly packaged into a product.
And there it is. The journey isn't just a story anymore. It's a system. They've packaged it all up into a product with a name, a structure, a clear timeline. This takes the kind of abstract idea of becoming more attractive and makes it feel real, concrete, and most importantly, achievable.
And when you look at what the workshop teaches, you see this really fascinating blend of ideas. On one hand, you have this very aggressive language, like destroy the inner simp, which really speaks to that frustration. But then, on the other hand, you get these almost Zen-like concepts, like meditation and embodiment techniques. It's promising a total overhaul, appealing to both that desire for raw strength and the modern guy's interest in self-improvement.
Now, to add a little more weight to the system, the pitch uses its own special terms. Words like embodiment and emotional grounding. These aren't just buzzwords. They make the workshop sound like it has a unique, almost scientific methodology. It suggests this isn't just some surface-level advice. No, this is a deep practice that you're going to need an expert to guide you through.
All right, we are in the home stretch. We've seen the problem, we've met the guide, and we've been shown the promised solution. There's only one thing left to do in any sales pitch: the call to action. This is where they finally ask you to make a decision. Now watch what they do here, because it's a classic marketing trick called price anchoring. First, they establish this really high theoretical value, 16,000 Mexican pesos, for coaching. They put that big number in your head first. So when they finally reveal the actual price of 3,999 pesos, it feels like an unbelievable bargain. It's not just a price, it's a whole value proposition, stacked with bonuses to make it seem irresistible. But they don't stop there. To really get you to pull the trigger, they introduce two of the oldest tricks in the book: urgency and scarcity. Saying the price is for a limited time and that there are very few spots left is designed to shut down any hesitation. The goal is to make you feel like if you don't act right now, you are going to miss out on this life-changing opportunity forever. And this final closing technique is just brilliant. The speaker flips the script. Instead of selling the product to you, he gets you to sell it to yourself. He asks you to imagine the best-case scenario: total confidence, real dating options. And then he asks, wouldn't that be worth 10 times the price? It completely reframes the cost into a tiny investment for a massive, life-changing reward.
And we end here, on the final provocation. This statement frames your choice not as buying versus not buying, but as transformation versus stagnation. It brings you right back to those painful feelings from the very beginning, feeling confused, feeling unvalued. And it leaves you with one last loaded question. Are you ready to stop just thinking about changing your life and finally do it? It's a perfect ending that wraps up the entire pitch, from problem all the way to purchase.